Have you ever wondered what makes an anime just explode in popularity? Is it random luck, maybe good timing, or is there a secret recipe for success? And let's be honest, the biggest question on everyone's mind right now is, why is this show, Solo Leveling, so unbelievably popular? When this series dropped in its anime form, it was like a global shockwave. The series shot up on the streaming charts, delivered a record-breaking performance on platforms like Crunchyroll, and was totally dominating online discussions. It broke out of the anime bubble so hard that even huge general entertainment content creators like Moist Critical were making videos about it. All of this massive success was capped off with a major win at the recent Crunchyroll Anime Awards. So here's our question. Is this just a flash in the pan? Or is there a repeatable blueprint at play here that Solo Leveling has completely mastered? We've broken it down into what we think are the 5 core elements that Solo Leveling uses to captivate viewers who've never even thought about watching anime. We're approaching this with the understanding that this is not just about one show. It's more about cracking the code on what creates massive appeal. So if you've ever wanted to get your friends hooked on anime, or if you're just fascinated by what makes a show connect with millions, then trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this breakdown. Okay, so let's get on the same page first. What even is a gateway anime? Well, it's kind of like the first domino in a line of dominoes. The one that knocks down over a few others, and suddenly there's many more dominoes falling the same way that the first one did. It's that crucial first series that can define your entire perception of the medium. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen other incredible shows pave their own path, right? Series like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and Jujutsu Kaisen brought tons of new fans into the world of anime. And unsurprisingly, they all share some common strengths. They're pretty easy to get into, they all look really nice, and they tell stories with universal appeal. However, Solo Leveling nearly feels like it absorbed all of these lessons and then activated a whole new skill tree specifically catered for today's audience. And that leads us into the first major ingredient in the formula. Solo Leveling is incredibly accessible. This show seems like it's built from the ground up to be easy and enjoyable to jump into. Solo Leveling accomplishes this by deliberately not being like a lot of other epic anime. You probably know the ones we're talking about, right? The super deep and super nuanced stories that take dozens of episodes to really understand or to unfold. Or the ones with long, drawn-out battles that are legendary if you're already a fan, but really feel like a marathon if you're new. Solo Leveling takes a very different approach. Its plot is refreshingly direct and remarkably easy to follow. We're with Sung Jinwoo, the world's weakest hunter, from the very beginning. When he gets his unique ability to rise in power, we all get a front row seat to his journey from zero to legendary hero. There's no overwhelming lore dump up front here, it's just a clear and satisfying ride. The next ace up the sleeve for this series has to be the story's pacing, as it's pure momentum from the get-go. Unlike any slow burn series, or most series for that matter, Solo Leveling's episodes have a notably fast pace. All of them feel brisk and short, compelling you to hit that next episode button immediately. It's basically built for how we watch shows nowadays, which is like a binge style. This pacing also means no commitment to hundreds of episodes. Its concise seasons, like the first 12-episode season, make starting the journey feel easy. Now, some dedicated readers of the manhwa will point out that this speed means some of the finer details and quiet character moments are all kind of streamlined instead of getting much focus. And that's a totally valid observation. However, from the perspective of being a gateway, this simplification is incredibly effective. It keeps the new viewers locked into the main thrill rather than getting bogged down by something that feels like a side quest. Plus, the story of the series is overwhelmingly centered on Jinwoo. His journey is the entire story. What this does is massively lowers the mental energy you have to spend keeping track of everything around Jinwoo. You don't have to maintain a mental spreadsheet of complex backstories and relationships that you might get in beloved epics like Attack on Titan, Naruto and Boruto, or the Full Metal Alchemist series. Instead, you just get to watch one character's clear, quantifiable, and visually satisfying growth. But a simple story isn't enough, right? To be a gateway, a show has to be a feast for your eyes, ears, and your brain alike, and this is where Solo Leveling really flexes its muscles. The production quality from A1 Pictures is consistently jaw-dropping. They didn't just animate the manhwa. They amplified the manhwa's strengths for the screen, often expanding on fight sequences or altering moments for greater visual drama. The action in Solo Leveling is really like the pulse of the show. It's fast-paced, intense, incredibly well choreographed, and a feast for the eyes. The team successfully translated that god-tier artwork that the manhwa is famous for into a fluid and heart-racing animation. And then there's the sound of the show. The score in Solo Leveling is from the legend himself, Hiroyuki Sawano, the same maestro behind Attack on Titan. Sawano's signature style with powerful orchestral pieces and electronic elements help to inject pure adrenaline into every scene. The music and visuals weave together to create an immersive, high-impact experience. This focus on sheer spectacle connects with you instantly, sometimes before you've even processed the plot's details. So for lack of a better description, element number 3 is just how this show clicks or agrees with a modern audience. One of the biggest hurdles for newcomers can be a feeling of cultural distance. Solo Leveling has a really smart answer for this by leaning into themes and structures that are already deeply embedded in Western pop culture. At its core, it's an archetypal power fantasy. Jinwoo starts as the world's weakest hunter and gets a chance to become limitlessly powerful. That zero to hero arc is a cornerstone of superhero comics and blockbuster movies alike. We're already conditioned to enjoy this kind of story. It's the kind of uncomplicated, grab your popcorn kind of fun that delivers an immensely satisfying rush. And for the massive audiences that speaks gamer, well, it turns out Solo Leveling is practically fluent in literary RPG. You're likely to instantly recognize all of this gamer jargon if you've played almost any RPG ever. Things like status screens, level progression, skill trees, quests, and of course, loot drops. This grounds the fantasy in a rule set that feels logical and understandable to most people, which is a totally genius way to lower that barrier of entry. Next up, we have arguably the most important factor, which is the monumental foundation that the anime was built on. Long before the anime, the manhwa was an undeniable global success, with billions of views worldwide. This meant that a massive, pre-existing international fan base was intensely anticipating the anime. That hype then translates to immediate viewership and incredible word-of-mouth promotion. The anime then proceeded to deliver a high-quality and faithful adaptation that satisfied those manhwa readers while dazzling the newcomers with its production values. A very powerful synergy. Now, let's put all of this together. Why does Solo Leveling resonate so powerfully as a gateway anime? Here's what we think. It has a streamlined, binge-ready story with a clear underdog focus. It delivers exceptionally high production quality with breathtaking animation and an epic score. It leverages familiar themes from superheroes and video games. It strategically avoids many potentially alienating anime tropes. And on top of all of that, it benefits from an approachable length and the immense anticipation from its source material. Now, some critics would point to a familiar plot or underdeveloped side characters in Solo Leveling. And if you're a seasoned fan looking for something radically original, those are indeed valid points. However, and this is the key to it being a gateway, that same simplicity and familiarity are the anime's advantages. They make the series less daunting and more immediately rewarding for newcomers. Because of this, solo leveling is oftentimes described as familiarity executed flawlessly, a recipe for pure entertainment. Ultimately, solo leveling is so much more than just a popular show. It's a brilliantly engineered modern gateway. It keenly understands its audience, especially those immersed in gaming and action movies, and delivers a polished and exhilarating product designed just for them. This series is compelling evidence that a thoughtful adaptation with stellar production values can swing open the doors to the rich world of anime for so many people. But what are your insights about all this? Was solo leveling your gateway anime? If not, then share with us whatever was the anime that first drew you into the anime world. And while you're there commenting, what do you think is the one ingredient that you believe makes an anime the perfect entry point? Feel free to share what you want us to explore next. We're eager to see you and respond in the comment section below. And if this analysis helped you see solo leveling in a new dimension, then hit that like button to power up, subscribe if you haven't already, and activate that notification bell like you're claiming an S rank artifact. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep leveling.